Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Tech Tuesday. My name's Vanessa, and today we have Ray Calderon from ITS, who's going to be talking to you about myHelpdesk for all of your IT service related needs. Before we begin, I just wanted to let everyone know if you have any questions at any point during the session, feel free to post it in the chat. We'll be stopping periodically to answer any questions that you might have. We're also recording today's session so that we can send it to you afterward in case you wanted to go back and revisit any of the material that we've talked about today. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Ray. Ray, thanks so much for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you for the introduction. All right, so as Vanessa mentioned, I work with ITS and I'm part of the ITS service delivery team. And today we're going to go over myHelpdesk, which is the ITS service portal. And a portal is a website, and this website will help you get the most out of ITS services. All right, so let's get right into it. Okay, so once you load myHelpdesk, this is the address up here. It's myhelpdesk.med.cornell.edu. Many of you here have probably already used it. So here at the main screen, you're going to see a few options that'll help you get the service you need. So ITS has long had online forms, but only recently in 2018 did we finally give them the attention that they deserved. And we created an entire new portal with a brand new look and new features. So when you first enter, you're greeted with four main options. You have the option to open an incident, which allows you to report a problem, request something, which lets you order a service. You have knowledge, which lets you search through our knowledge articles if you'd like to find your own answers. And finally, there's the Epic Together icon. This link will take you to a completely different portal, which is exclusive for the Epic team to report problems and make requests for that are related to Epic. So let's start by reviewing the first two. Let's take a look at opening an incident and requesting something. Okay, so when ITS first launched a new and improved myHelpdesk, we wanted to change how the WCM community viewed work submitted to ITS and to understand the difference between incident and request. So an incident is when something's broken or it's not working as expected. For example, you can't start your computer, you can't log into email. Those would be incidents. And requests are used to ask for service that you don't already have, such as getting a new computer connected or getting some type of account access that you may need. So why does this matter? Why do we need to distinguish between incidents and requests? Here's why. These are the two paths that incidents and requests can take. So when you follow the link on myHelpdesk, open an incident, or if you send an email to the ITS support list, the assumption is that something is broken that needs to be diagnosed. These incidents that are created are generally sent directly to the service desk, where they will join a queue along with other incidents. And then the service desk will review the issue you're having, and they will either resolve it or transfer it to a different team. So there's a bit of triaging involved in review. Now, when you follow the link to request something and you're submitting a specific form, you're going to bypass that triaging because requests are repeatable. We know exactly who they need to be assigned to, and we know the steps that need to be followed. So this allows them to use something called a workflow, which defines all of that. So the request will go to the right team, and it provides that team with a set of steps or instructions that they will need to perform to get you the service. So no triaging is needed, and you can avoid any delays in getting your request fulfilled by making sure that if what you need is a request, you follow the right path and follow the right form when you can. Now, when you click on request something, you will see our service catalog with over 130 request forms. And it's very easy to find what you need. They're broken down into categories such as device connectivity, accounts and access, and you can also search for them. So it should be very simple to find what forms you need here. Okay, now let's go over the next section, which is knowledge. ITS maintains an extensive knowledge base of over 700 articles written by ITS staff that can guide you in the right direction towards resolving an issue or requesting a service. These articles are presented in groups and categories, and they're also searchable to help you find what you need most efficiently. If you need to see the status of your incident or request that you've submitted, you can always click on the ticket status link up at the very top, and a list will drop down with your more recent tickets. and you can click on View All to see an entire list. Finally, there's a chat support button up top. If you're more of a texter than a talker, this may be the right option for you. By clicking on the link to chat support at the top navigation bar, a live agent will respond promptly and provide you with the assistance you need. Okay, now that we're familiar with the basics of myHelpdesk, let's visit the portal and run through the features in a demo. Does anyone have any questions at this point?
Not at this point, Ray, if you want to go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so here we are at the portal. You'll see all the same options that we had just reviewed. So let's click on Open an Incident. When you click here, you're going to one single form. Unlike the catalog, which presents into with 130 different forms, incident is just one form because it is non-specific and you're just reporting something that is not working for you. So you'll see some examples here again. So we try to make sure that everyone's using this to report an actual problem. You're going to be asked for some basic information. And there's a useful feature here where when you type in your short description, the portal is going to read what you're typing, and it's going to give you a result of different knowledge articles that may help you. So one of these could avoid you from having to even submit this incident. You'll see links to requests that are related to email or whatever you've typed up there. You'll see different articles such as how to, for example, here's how to use listserv. You'll see articles tagged as break fix. So these are very useful, and I'd encourage anyone submitting an incident to see what pops up there when you enter your short description. And then you just enter your description as normal, what the actual issue is. And you can go on and submit it, and it's going to go to the service desk. And a technician will see that and look at it during business hours and contact you. Or they will send it to the right team that will contact you. Okay, now let's look at the request. And click on request something. Okay, so when you click on request something, you're going to be greeted by the service catalog, which is a catalog of everything that we offer that we have forms for. So you will see different boxes here. These are called widgets. So this first widget is going to show you items that you've recently submitted. You're going to see popular items, which are requests that haven't used the most. They have the most requests open for them. And you're going to see newer updated items. We place items in here for which are actually either new forms or existing forms that we've added some kind of option or functionality to. You scroll down a little further, you'll see a widget for my requests. This will show you your more recent requests. And if you need to go back even further, just click on View All Requests. If you can't find what you need here, you can always do a search. This will search all of our available forms. For example, if I'm interested in the ITS Evergreen service, I can type that in here and it's going to show me all of the forms related to Evergreen. You can be a little more broad than that and just hit, if you click something like check something like email, you can see all the forms related to email. Now, if you still can't find what you need, then you're going to have to dig in and browse by the categories. Now you'll see everything. This is our master menu of all the ITS services that you can request on this portal. So you'll see different categories here. So you'll see different things like accounts and access, communication, everything that ITS provides, whether it's clinical, educational, or research related. And it's going to open with popular items. And again, you can search here, or you can just browse.
Hey, Ray, we got some questions actually through email before the session, and I think one of them would be applicable to this section. Somebody wanted to know when they look up request forms, they notice that they're not seeing the same request forms as one of their colleagues, so they don't know why that's happening. Could you give some info about that?
Sure, that's a good question. Not everyone will see every form. What the forms that everyone will see are going to be the forms that don't generate charges, that don't ask for a fund number. Anything that doesn't have an additional cost will be accessible to everyone that can get on the site. Now, there are some forms which do require entry of a fund number. And they are going to generate either one-time charges or recurring charges or both, such as getting a computer tagged or ordering a new desk phone. So for those forms, only a specific set of people have access. The group, we refer to the group as cost center reviewers. You may also know it as a fund number owner or manager. And basically, these are folks that have access in SAP to a fund number. So ServiceNow looks at SAP to see who can access these forms. Now, if there's a new hire that needs access to those forms, the place to start is SAP. They should ask their supervisor or department administrator to get them SAP access, fill out a WBG request form, and that ServiceNow will eventually recognize it and see that they are fund number owners and give them access to those special forms on ITS. If there is a bit of a delay in getting that, or sometimes there is an error, if that happens, you can always contact ITS and we can add you manually, and that gives you temporary access until the SAP portion is sorted out. So that may be one reason why some users can't see every form. Because I know we do get that reported a lot. A lot of folks will want a computer tagged and we'll tell them to fill out a form, and they can't find the form with tagged computer because it actually has to go up to someone in the department that has the access to make those requests. So now, barring any access issues, if you still are not able to find the form that you're looking for and you have a service that you need that absolutely does not seem to have a form anywhere, you can always go to the general IT request. This is kind of the catch-all for anything we don't have a form for. So this is very much like the incident form. It's just going to ask you some basic information. It's also going to ask you what your request is about. This helps triage it to the right group. So unlike incidents, which completely go to the service desk, here we ask you a little bit more to see if we can get your request to the right group with a little less triaging than usual. And just like the incident form, it's going to look at your short description and offer some knowledge articles. And it's also going to offer links to other forms. So for example, if you're submitting a general IT request to ask for a distribution list, once you type that in, you're going to see there's already a distribution list request here. So you can click on this to open that and order it the proper way. That'll reduce any delay in getting it processed, and they'll take it to the right team and they'll know exactly how to fulfill it. All right, so let's go and submit one of these. Then finally, you just enter what the request is. And you can add any attachments using the paperclip down here. Sometimes people will attach screenshots. And let's go ahead and submit. All right, so on your confirmation screen, you're going to be given a few numbers. You're going to see the REQ number, which is the request number. And you can think of this as kind of the shopping cart. It's a container for everything that you've ordered. Listed below are the request items, or RITM or RITM for short. And these are the actual requested items that you've ordered as part of this request. Usually it's best to refer to the RITM number if you have to contact ITS for an issue or for some follow-up to your request. So let's click on the RITM number, and you'll be taken to this page where you can update the ticket or look at any updates that have been made by ITS. So you go down here and you'll see the activity. You'll see any notes that ITS has entered, and you can add your own comment. And you'll see the history there. So anything you enter here will be seen by the ITS staff person who the request is assigned to. And anything that they reply will show up here too, in addition to being emailed to you to make sure that you don't miss anything. You'll see any attachments that you've added, and you can add even more attachments. So many times an ITS person will ask you for some additional document or image, and you can always go back into the request through myHelpdesk and add that. And if you go to the additional details tab, you'll see the request as you submitted it. So you're going to see everything that you've selected. So if you need to go back and refer to this, you can do it here. Now, let's say you've logged off and you need to go back and see the status of this request or any other requests. So as we went over before, you have the ticket status link up here. And it gives you a number of your active tickets. You see I have 15, and you'll see it at a glance on this drop down, but you won't see everything. So if you want to see all of your tickets, click here to view all tickets. So you'll see a detailed breakdown. You'll see all of your active incidents. You'll see recently closed incidents. The other side, you'll see your active requests, and below your recently closed requests. And again, it just gives you the first view. And if you need to view all for any of these sections, you can just click on it there. So it's very simple to go back and check the status of your tickets.
Oh, Ray, another question we got too was concerning like the ticket status. I mean, are these all individual requests for something, or is it possible to put more than one request in a ticket? Like if somebody needs something, do they have to submit an individual form each time, essentially?
That's a good question. We've actually had quite a bit of demand to be able to submit more than one requested item at a time. As you saw on the confirmation screen, you had a REQ request, and then you do have the potential to have multiple items under that. And we know that people do want to submit multiples at the same time. So we've started implementing a few things to help that. We started with some of the most popular forms, one of them being the computer services, which is to get a new computer tagged. So what the order guide does, you'll see that it looks a little different than the standard form. So the order guide lets you submit multiple requested items in one request. It's going to ask you a few questions first. So let's say we want to connect a new computer. We'll click that. Just fill out some basic information. It's going to ask you who it's for, what their status is. And here are a few of the important questions that will generate additional forms. We want to ask you if the computer's replacing another one, which indicates that this is a replacement. And we want to ask you what you're doing with the old computer. And here, let's indicate that we want to have that disconnected. Now it's going to ask if we need a security variance. Let's say yes, as an example for this one. So I'm just going to quickly run through all of these variance options. I'm going to pretend this computer cannot be encrypted, and I'm going to say no to all of the PHI questions. Finally, we're going to be asked for departmental authorization, what department you're part of. And these are, you're going to see a consistent look on all our forms in terms of asking you for department and your billing information. I'm just going to type in a manual phone number here because I don't have access to any phone numbers. Okay, so we've finished the first page of the order guide. We haven't gotten to any of the actual items yet. So the second page is where you see your items. So here we're getting a new computer tagged, we're getting the old one disconnected, and we're submitting a variance so that this device doesn't get encrypted. Before we started order guides, these were all individual forms. You would have to go into myHelpdesk 3 times and submit each form individually, a lot of times entering the same information over and over. So we've tried to make that a little simple with order guides. And not only does it make it simpler to enter, but it also links them together. So the ITS folks who are fulfilling this will know that they're all actually part of the same overall request. So if you click on one of these items, it's going to expand, and you'll see the new computer connect form, as you would see it if it were an individual form. Same thing for devices connection, and now for encryption variants. So the order guides are a great way to kind of roll multiple forms into one. And once you hit next, it's going to show you all of your requested item numbers, and it's going to show you the overall request that they're part of. So that is one way that we allow the submission of multiple items per request. And a few other forms have this. In addition to the computer services form, we also have an order guide for the IP phone call center services. And we know a lot of items can be ordered when getting a new phone. It's not just getting a new phone. You can get a soft phone to go with it. Some people want to reset the voicemail. Some people need an agent ID to go along with it. So instead of submitting 5 or 6 forms, you can just do all of it in one order guide here. And another example is scientific software. And you scroll down here, you'll see the software that this is available for. FlowJo, GraphPad, and BioRender. Again, instead of 3 different forms, you do it on one order guide. Now, the last form I'm going to show where you can submit multiples, it's a little different. This one allows for bulk functionality, and it's a disconnection request. So while the order guides let you submit different types of forms together, this here an example of duplicating the same request over and over. We know a lot of DAs need to request the disconnection of devices. On an annual basis, they'll review what tags they have in service and which ones should be disconnected. And it can be difficult to submit. Sometimes you have 50 or over 100 devices you need to disconnect. And it was not easy going in and submitting all those forms. And some folks who didn't do it would just send us one form with a spreadsheet attached. And then it became difficult on the ITS side. Then we had to parse through this spreadsheet, open individual requests, and it was a little more difficult to track. So what we did on the disconnect form is, you'll see this widget here, which allows you to add multiple lines. So I can add one device to disconnect. And you'll see it in a list view here. It shows you at a glance what kind of device it is, who's using it, serial and location. But I'm not done there. I want to submit another one. And there it is. So I can keep going up to 50. So I can disconnect 50 of these in one request by using this form. Now, if you have more than 50, which some people do, we make it even easier. You click on this, and you can actually cut and paste your tags from Excel, and you can open many disconnects as you want. And it's going to recognize, if the tags exist, it'll recognize them and open the right request and get it to the right team that does disconnects. So yeah, so that's a good question on multiple items per request. We're going to try to add this functionality to more requests in the future, just to make it easier for everyone to submit their requests. Okay, now moving on from requests, let's check out the knowledge base. Okay, so when you load the knowledge base, you're going to see multiple widgets to try to help you find the articles you need. You see different categories: administrative, clinical, research, and then it gets broken down a little further. You'll see the featured article, which are articles that we've placed there that we believe are in demand or just very useful. We have the most viewed articles, which are the ones that you have looked at the most. And of course, you can search up here. Let's search for alumni. Okay, and this is what an article looks like. You're going to see a consistent format in all of the articles. You're going to see an introduction and a procedure. And we try to include, everything is formatted to the best we can. We have images, we have specific steps. And then at the very bottom, you can actually rate the articles. Was it helpful or was it not? Click on yes, and you'll get a thank you. And if there's a reason that the article did not work for you or some step was missing, you can always add a comment. And it's great when we get these comments because it helps us improve the articles. If we know that something is missing that you guys aren't seeing, this is how we'll know, and we'll add it. And it helps us make the knowledge base better for everyone. And on the side of next to the article, again, you'll see the same widgets for most viewed, most useful, and featured, and other articles in the same category that you've selected. Okay, so now let's move on from knowledge. And you'll see an icon up here for tours. It's not available for every page. Now, what the tour does is it just gives you a quick graphical tour of the form itself, in case there's any question on how to fill it out. And we've only implemented this for the order guide so far. The order guide's fairly new technology, and to my help desk, folks are used to just submitting one form. So to help people through the order guide, we added a tour here. When you see the orange light appear on the tour, you'll know that there is a tour available for that page. And it's just going to give you a welcome notice here, and it's going to point you through all the steps that I've already just pointed you to on what to click and how to fill it out and what to expect when you are submitting an order guide. And we've set this to show up once when you've first gone to the site, and it won't show up again. But you can always bring it up using the tours button up there. Okay, now finally, let's check out chat support.
Oh, Ray, before you go to chat support, we did get a question.
Sure.
Peter asked, how can you track devices that one has disconnected? I often search my email for completed disconnect requests, but lately the ticket request emails don't show the request details like the device tag number.
So the question is just how to know when the disconnect has been processed?
Yeah, like how would you track the status of your disconnected requests?
Well, there should be the email should go in all the same for disconnect requests, and we have the notification set up. So, well, for one thing to know for now is that the person who's the request is requested for is the one getting all the notifications. So if you enter a request on behalf of someone else, that other person is going to get all the notifications. That is something we've been asked about. We're going to try to look into that to see if we can give a little more notification to the person who actually entered it, because we find that a lot of supervisors and admins fill out tons of requests for their staff, and they don't necessarily need to see the status of every single one. But one thing that, if you are just a person entering them, but not for other people, you can always add yourself to the watch list here. And what this does is send you the same notifications that the person you've requested for is getting. Now that said, let's look at the ticket status. Let's see if I can dig up a disconnect. Okay, so this one is still active. All right, so on the recently closed request, you'll see that I've had a number of device disconnections completed. Let's look at the additional details, and you'll see the device number, and you'll see information about it, how it was, whether it was disposed of or repurposed, and that it was completed. So that's going to my help desk is one of the easiest ways to see what the status of a disconnect is for a particular device. And I hope that answers the question. And again, you should also get an email, the person it's requested for. And typically the person requesting entering request for disconnect are also the person that it's being requested for. It's usually the same name. If there's any specific case that this doesn't meet, definitely encourage anyone to follow up with me. I can look at any specific issues to see if it's not following the process we've planned. Okay, so now let's look at the chat support. All right, so chat support opens up in a new window, and everyone has probably seen this in many other websites where you go and you can chat with an agent, so you don't have to, if you're on the phone with someone else, or you just don't want to wait on the phone, and you'd rather just have this up on your screen, this is something else you can do. Type your question and hit enter. So it's going to show you what you've entered, going to give you a quick introductory message, and it's going to show you your average wait time up there. And when you're finished with the chat, the technician will either diagnose your issue or send you to the right form, and they'll definitely give you the ticket number. So at that point, you can follow up with that under my help desk ticket status. And when you're done, you simply hit end chat, and that will take you out. Okay, and that is pretty much it for an overview of my help desk. So we've covered everything on how to open incidents, requests, what the difference is, and all the ways you can get knowledge. Does anyone have any additional questions?
Any other questions for the chat, or if you want to come off the microphone, just let me know, raise your hand and I can unmute you. We did have some thank yous for actually combining some of those request forms together. I think that alleviated a lot of extra work that people were experiencing.
Good, good. I'm glad that's helpful. Yeah, we're always looking for feedback. If there's anything that needs to be improved, you can just contact ITS directly or go through your departmental liaison. Any way you know to get back to us, and it'll get back to my team and we can help. Okay, so I think that's about it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we have any questions. I think you explained everything really, really well, actually.
Okay.
But if you do have any questions after this, if you think of something, again, I'll be sending out that follow-up email with the recording to the session and also the link to my help desk, just in case you need a little reminder. And feel free to just write to us there and just ask any questions that you may have just thought of, and we can answer them to the best of our ability. But thank you guys so much for taking some time today to learn about my help desk. Thank you, Ray, for this great overview of how the entire site works. And have a great day, everyone.
All right. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.